I'm Bob Doidge. I grew up in Ancaster with a lot of really creative people. I had Dan Lanois across the street. I was active in everything I could get my hands on in music. At the same time, I was a gymnast and a swimmer. I loved the wilderness probably more than anything on earth. I've been playing music, writing music, engineering music, and producing it my entire life. I've worked with the Crash Test Dummies, Cowboy Junkies, Johnny Cash, some U2 stuff. Did a Bob Dylan mix for Oh Mercy. Probably the pinnacle of my career was I've just worked with Gordon Lightfoot on his last 3 records. I grew up in Ancaster with a lot of really creative people. I had Dan Lanois across the street and was in bands with him. We met in high school. I was active in everything I could get my hands on in music. At the same time, I was a gymnast and a swimmer. I loved anything physical. I loved the wilderness probably more than anything on earth. Making music in the wilderness is probably the nicest thing I've ever done in my life. Basically, I just grew up in a really kind of average street with average people, except it was right on the verge of forests in Ancaster. So I spent a lot of time out there. As I do today, I spend a lot of time in Northern Ontario, in wilderness so far gone most people can't even imagine it. And I stay in there for 5 days at a stretch, just because I love it.
Tell me the name of your project, your manipulation of trees, just briefly what it is.
Well, for my entire life I've been camping on a river in northeastern Ontario, and I started discovering artifacts. So 4 years ago I got an archaeology license, which I have to report all my findings, and I did a 4-year study of this river and found 7 sites with occupation by natives probably about 500 to 1,000 years ago. And all their tools are there, their teepee rings, ceremonial sites, and they're manipulated trees that mark all of these events. And they're huge, beautiful things that are so wild to see in real life. And the archaeology community doesn't really know of some of the artifacts that I found up there. So I'm in the middle of reporting that and basically making it so people can see these trees, which are every 500 feet on the Bruce Trail. Okay.
Go ahead and make a big gesture.
Let's just...
big gesture. I got lots of room here.
I got more room than this.
Up higher, up higher.
Yeah? Up there. I'm Bob Doidge.
Last time. Ready?
I'm Bob Doidge.
Perfect. Done.
I've been playing music, writing music, engineering music, and producing it my entire life. Except when I was 3 years old or younger, I used to play music boxes.
Really good.
I just thought Tom was all rock and roll, and I'm sure a few of them will be kind of like that kind of state of mind.
This is more philosophical. I like the approach.
And I want it to be light and musical as opposed to a style that someone can argue about or say, oh, all he does is folk or all he does is hard rock. Okay? And then I'll say, if you listen to the people around you, all your great thoughts get lost. And I'm going to wind them all up. And I want to talk about your focus on your goal and your dream. That's all I want to talk about, really.
You're going to wind one of those up right now because I'm focused on it. Go ahead, that.
And then once I wind these things up, we won't be able to stay in the room. I'll have to throw it out of the room because it'll drive you nuts. If you're going to be in the music business or the arts, you've got to have this huge, huge dream, and you have to focus on that dream entirely, and you have to ignore all the people around you. And if you can't ignore those people, all their thoughts and their negativity is going to come into your writing, your playing, and everything else. And basically, that dream you have will never happen. So you have to be like this one-minded, on a path, know where you're going, etc. It's probably going to stop.
Is it possible to repeat what you just said?
Yeah. Hopefully this won't go off.
Look in this direction
Okay.
as well. And you can go ahead anytime.
If you're going to work in music, which I've done my whole life, or the arts in general, you have to have a dream, you have to have this passion, and that dream has to be a big one, and you have to be heading for it. And to do that, you've got a lot of people around you who are going to tell you it can't be done, you'll never get there, and somehow you have to be able to ignore those people to such an extent that that dream happens, and it will happen.
Will you be able to name some of the major projects that you've worked on or accomplished over the years? Just names of, groups, individuals that you've produced here.
I've worked on that big album with the Crash Test Dummies, Cowboy Junkies, a little bit with Johnny Cash, and some U2 stuff when Dan was doing it in Ireland. Did a Bob Dylan mix for Oh Mercy. Probably a pinnacle of my career, just because at age 14 I fell in love with his music, was I've just worked with Gordon Lightfoot on his last 3 records. And that was huge for me. It took a lot of time, but I still to this day love his music. And when I'm working on it down here, everybody upstairs says it sounds like the radio's on downstairs. And it does.
It's good.
Gord called me one day, he says, I gotta have someone for backup, who would you suggest? And I said, I've got just the guy. He can do everything, he can read, acoustic, electric, you name it. Carter Lancaster. He goes, Carter Lancaster. It sounds made up. Anyways, introduced him, and when Terry died, then he just took over. He had to learn 70 songs in like 3 weeks. But he's doing great on the road, and the fans are loving him too, which is tough.
He's a real showman.
Just the fact that the band is so old with Lightfoot, it's 25 years, that to change a member is a really big deal. And Carter's just doing so well, His playing's great. And well, I'm a really lucky guy because I have a memory that goes back to age 2 as vividly as yesterday. And I remember back then playing this record player over and over. 4 records is all I had, and these music boxes. And I started sitting at my mother's piano and playing that. They sent me to lessons when I was 4, but at age 4, all I wanted was a trumpet, which eventually, by age 7, they gave it to me. And I studied trumpet and piano for a while. Eventually bass guitar when I was 14. Made my own bass guitar. And then along the way I met Ian Thomas, was working with him in RCA Studios in Toronto. And the first day I walked into the place and I heard music coming out of those big speakers, I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Ian Thomas.
Yeah, I just played with him the other day.
Was it Nora's Truck Stop?
Yeah, that was one of the songs. Yeah.
What was the name of the band, wasn't it?
Tranquility Bass.
Tranquility Bass, yeah.
Yeah, I played with Ian. He was doing a TV show in here.
Was he up on Governor's Road in Dundas? Was that?
That was Nora's house.
That was Nora's house.
Big old house on 2 acres up there. Yeah.
I know the area.
Yeah. We used to rehearse there.
Okay, so you want to talk first before I go down below there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in following that dream, remember, some people come up with a melody, and it's a beautiful melody. And the guy has a focus on this melody. If he listens to his friends, it gets a little bit crazy, and the melody gets lost. So don't listen to negative people.
Pretend. This is good. Anything here?
Yeah, there's not much happening
Nothing
there.
there? Okay.
No, and
Anything elsewhere?
most of this stuff has very little we can deal with. Singers can't look at what note they're going to hit, right? So I never look at the bass. Octave slide, I go for it. And now I never look at it. It's just part of my voice, right? That's really what happened, is the bass became my voice, which is an impressive thing to have happen when you've been playing a while.
Go ahead.
focus is everything, but it's not just making yourself focus, it's loving what you do. That's probably the biggest thing. Once you love what you do and what you're working on, it's really hard to listen to people talk in the background.
At any time you want to change instruments, that's enough of a clip there.
Okay.
Just don't move the chair, don't move anything at all.
Okay.
You don't mind, Bob. I'll just keep
Can I leave this here?
Leave it anywhere there, it's fine, yeah. That's good. Anything else?
I'm going to do this one just to scare them, because I always think it's funny to have cello and dobro. One of my songs has that. 1 second. It's called Get With It, This Is the 20s. Is that good? And then I'll finish off with this one, or a bit of piano if you want.
What about the mandolin? Are you going to try that too?
Oh, I can do that. My hands are cold. Is that good? Let's just grab the mando out of the other room.
I'm not moving because I don't want the camera to shift at all.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Maybe you can do that standing, or how do you want to do it?
It's hard to stand with.
Don't move the chair, but can you shift your body more to your right? If you can't, like that, good.
Like that?
And now look into your left, like that with your face. Good. Now play now. Okay. Now put that instrument down for a moment, Bob. Let me try something else. You just standing where you are. Just stand up.
Standing?
No instruments. Like that, good. Do a couple of things like that, and look away from me. Good. Try your hands in your pockets. Try something else. Try wherever's comfortable with your hands. That's good.
Oh, this is
Or
comfortable.
even have that cup of coffee if you want, or something.
This is comfortable
That's
here.
good. Good. Now don't move your arms across them. Good. Good. Now walk towards me. Just walk my way. Okay. Walk from here to the chair and pick up an instrument. Any instrument. that same